We're back, class. Good afternoon. It is week 11 here in our social entrepreneurship class. And today I want us to discuss our last month, the last month of October. I want us to briefly talk about Power Inc. And then I want us to, but I want you all to be prepared so that you all can finish writing your 5-page paper. I want you all to have time to be able to do that so that you all can turn it in tomorrow. But before we do that, I just wanted to discuss a couple things with you. First, we have some housekeeping. We have a potential speaker, B. Michelle Williams, is scheduled to speak again to my class. I believe Tina was a part of my, hey, Tina was a part of my entrepreneurship class yesterday and was able to hear Ms. Williams speak. She is scheduled to come by, but she may be in a meeting. She is the executive director of FinTech in Action. It is a FinTech company based in Dallas, but based in Chicago, but she is based between Dallas and New York and is doing great work there. And then I just want us to have a quick discussion, and I want to be open for us for questions for your 5-page paper. Before we get started, let me first ask, how are you all feeling? I know midterms have ended. Would you please if you can, turn your cameras on and unmute yourself so that we can just talk about how you're feeling this first week of November?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'm doing pretty good. Just trying to stay on task. Yeah, midterms is over, but we still have like papers and projects. It seems like every class now has projects. So trying to stay on task and just get that finished. I think I kind of hit the senioritis where you get to the halfway mark and you kind of
coast
a little bit, and then you have to get yourself back in gear.
Yeah, well, that's natural. Professors even experience that, right? I remember in school, every senior in high school, senioritis. I didn't go to class. Senior year in college, had senioritis, but I was interning. So I remember I was interning. I was an econ major, and I interned at an investment bank in downtown. It was actually off of 635 in Coit, and I was getting paid like $25, $30 an hour. And so I'm wearing suits every day, and I'm in my business classes where I feel like I'm wasting my time because I had to clock out to go to class for 3 hours. And I was like, I could have made $75 today. And so that's real. I'm not saying that I'm condoning it. I'm just saying that I empathize with it. And I want you all to be able to fight through it because I know you can. And if you do, it definitely will reap benefits at the end of the road.
Thank you.
Good deal. How's everyone else feeling?
I'll go next.
Hey, Joycelyn, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing well. Good to see you.
Good. So, week of November. So it did just start. I am working at a school, so it's been pretty busy. Just work in general. School has been very tough lately with trying to catch up with as much as I can. But we're trying to make the best out of it for sure. I feel like I'm kind of stuck in feeling like just last night, actually, I was thinking about what did I do within the year, right? And I was just reminiscing. I was like, well, what difference have I done? And I kind of discouraged myself a little bit because I'm like, I feel like I'm in the same spot that I was in last year, still working the same job, or, still stuck with trying to catch up with classes. But I had to rethink that and actually realize, you know what, this is an investment. Hopefully it'll, benefit me in the long run or help me out in the long run. But yeah, I mean, we're just going. Hopefully by the end of the year, we can get through these courses and move on. This is my senior year, so I'm just excited to hopefully be done soon.
Good deal. Well, again, congratulations. I know this is a celebratory lap. Your senior year, you all have accomplished so much, and you all see the light at the end of the tunnel. But please don't forget to run hard. The tape is still at the finish line, and you need to break it. So run as fast as you can. We do know that you're working in this environment. I'm glad to see that you are still able to work with children and things of that nature in this environment. I know that the numbers are decreasing a little bit based on what I saw last week, but I'm also reading on a more contagious variant. So please continue to be careful as you are working with children and educators and things of that nature. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Anyone else? Like I haven't seen you all in a month, so I actually have to I want to catch up with you all.
I got a new desktop, so I don't
Oh,
have a
congratulations!
webcam.
How's the new camera on it?
No, I haven't gotten one. I'm trying to get one right now.
Okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, desktop, I mean, it's pretty nice, so I'm enjoying it so far. I mean, again, the same thing a lot of essays do. I know one class that I have, we have to do like a 12-page essay last time. Now this one is like an 8-page essay. And I'm taking the same professor twice, so it's 2 8-page essays for that one.
Yep.
So yeah, it's getting a little complicated, but I mean, it's smooth right now. It'll get worse later.
Well, this is all a test, right? And so, and if it makes you feel better, as a professor, I'm still doing very similar things. I have deadlines and projects that I turn in, and I don't get a grade, but I get the promise to keep working with them, right? And so I have to do a really good job in order to get repeat business, and so that's stressful. And so this journey in school, you all have experienced this. You all have lived lives and have families and things of that nature. It's similar to it, but it has a different focus. And whenever you're doing things in academia or doing things for work, it seems detached from what you care about and what you typically love, which makes it more difficult to kind of do. So I just want to make sure you all stay inspired to finish strong, because people are looking at students at UNT Dallas. And I really want to talk to you all. I'm really spending a lot of time with you all here because we're going to have a conversation in the next 5 minutes or so that I want to hear your honest feedback in terms of the Social Entrepreneurship and Mobility Institute and how UNT Dallas students are going to be like in the not limelight per se, but we will be really noticed about what we can do in the city. And in order for us to do it successfully, we all need to be in a good headspace. We all need to understand that, I'm a senior, I'm about to be a senior. I may need to have an internship opportunity. Michelle Williams could give you an opportunity for that, for any UNT Dallas student for the summer. That you can not only have an internship, but get paid good money. I believe she said about $5,000 for the summer. And then you can get certified so that you can get your Series 7 certification, so you can practice and trade stocks and bonds and stuff like that, so that you can make 6 figures as a career. And so that's who's going to come on at 4:30. That's when, Jocelyn, when you were speaking, that's why I was texting to make sure she was coming. She's in the meeting now, but we'll be on at 4:30. Anyone else? So Ephraim, thank you for sharing that. I said all of that to say you're on the right track. Congrats on the computer. I hope that everything works well. And y'all just continue to fight through.
Thank you. Will do.
Cool. Anyone else before we move on? I'll move forward. Hey, Tina, would you mind? Are you available? Would you mind turning on your camera and briefly mentioning our speaker from yesterday? Do you remember our speaker from yesterday? If you're available. Okay, she's not. It's all good. Thank you. All right. So for our housekeeping, one, who all attended any of the TAC conference last week? Okay. Sweet, sweet. Great. Could y'all, one, thank you all for doing that. Secondly, I saw your emails and things of that nature of proof of your extra credit. And so I'll work on that this weekend. But thirdly, would you all tell me y'all's experience? What did you all experience? What did you all watch, listen to? And then your overall experience of the conference.
Oh, I guess I will start. To me, it was very inspiring and it was different. I've never been part of, I guess I never joined a organization or like
Black organization?
No, I didn't mean to say it like that, but I've always been surrounded by Hispanic. And like we also discussed, my uncle, he owns like a mini organization. So he also discussed like our problems as Hispanics, but I never got to hear like someone else's. And like listening to the conference made me open my eyes and being like a little more open-minded about the issues that are experienced in Dallas.
Cool. Yeah, thank you. I know that I enjoy working with TAC because it also allowed me to understand more of the issues concerning entrepreneurs in the Hispanic communities, because there's a state organization called TAMAC, the Texas Association of Mexican American Chambers of Commerce, who we have a close partnership with, and we work with each other so that we can help our communities. So thank you for sharing that. I explicitly wanted people outside of the African American community to experience it because we are not an exclusive organization. We are welcome to anyone to join, but our purpose is so that we can build businesses who are supporting the Black community. So you can be of any color to do that, but you have to understand our plight and understand what we're fighting for in order for you to be an ally. So thank you for participating and for sharing that, Brisa.
Like Brisa said, for me, I mean, it was a new experience for sure. It felt more like home.
Oh, really?
Like, for some reason, I mean, like in where I come from Dallas, it's just Hispanics and the Black community overall. So you see that all of the businesses around is just based on that. And I see the lack of opportunity. My dad himself owns a car shop, and there's times where it gets kind of hard. And I'm really into now. I'm getting into the whole conscious capitalism, which really, I don't know. I see that it inspires a lot of people to do good, and it's a really good way to go from it because everybody gets benefits from it. It's not just the company, everyone around it. And well, yeah, I mean, it was really a lot of knowledge to take in, but it was really nice to take a time and to listen to others and see what's their problems that they're going through.
Gotcha. Thanks for sharing that, Efren, rather. Yeah, it was. Thank you for sharing that. It is eye-opening. I've been a part of this organization for about 8 years now, and so I was just elected vice chair, which is essentially the chair elect. So hopefully, in a couple of years, I would be the head of the organization. And so, just being able to be an advocate on the state level is important for our communities because of how how the economics are set up in Black and Brown communities, how we have not had the resources to really allow our communities to thrive based on practices in America that didn't allow us to have equity in our contributions. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, I'm
You-
like them. It was just a lot of information that we wouldn't have never got had you guys not had that forum. So for me, I enjoyed it because it was just a wealth of information. So
Good deal. Well, I appreciate you all attending. And I want to make that information more open and available to the public. I'm thinking about creating a college student track for the organization. What are y'all thoughts on that? And how do you think that should look?
What do you mean creating a college student track?
Like, I really just want to figure out how I can have college students be more engaged in that organization, or just know more about the economic ecosystem in Texas. Do you think that's worthwhile to try to have a college membership, student membership, or should we try to partner with colleges across the state? Is that even a good idea?
I think it should be, you might want to start in your area first and then expand it once, like Texas, it pops off in Texas, and then expand it to other areas.
So like,
Because
go ahead, I'm sorry, I'm listening.
so like I would think like schools around Texas, not
Right.
just our school, but schools around Texas. And I think they would want to do it once they hear the information.
That's a great
Because
point.
I got excited. I got excited, like in the conferences and stuff. I was like, it was like information I didn't know. So it was just refreshing for me.
Okay. Cool. No, we do have relationships with other colleges across the state. I know my colleague who's the chair, Courtney Johnson Rose, teaches school at Prairie View. One of my colleagues is the mayor of Prairie View. We also have the partnership with Texas Southern. I don't know if you all saw that luncheon where we signed an MOU with the president of TSU, but we signed an MOU with Houston Tillotson School the year before. And so we have partnerships with UTSA, Houston Tillotson, UT Austin, of course, Texas Southern, and Prairie View. So we will definitely, that's something that we may explore some more. You may hear more from me on that. Any other comments from the conference? All right, if you all submit your extra credit, I will provide extra credit for you all. I don't know exactly how I'll calculate that, but I'll do that this weekend. Okay.
What would you want us to submit?
I will actually create a Canvas assignment under extra credits called the 2021 Tech Hybrid Conference. And you can submit either a page or a synopsis of what you of a half-page synopsis with picture of proof that you attended for extra credit.
Is the proof enough with the invitations that they send us?
No, because you have to still. Did you all record anything? Did y'all snapshot or anything? Okay, just send y'all's registration email from me or whatever the Advanced Net Lab sent you for your registration. If you just snapshot that email to me there, that'll suffice.
Yeah, because I have everything, but I didn't really screenshot or anything during the meeting.
No, that's fine. Sounds good. And so I will activate that after class today. All right, we've talked about the month of October briefly. On my end, this was a very busy month. I didn't realize I was going to be the chair to coordinate that event because originally it was scheduled to be an in-person only event, but due to COVID spikes, we wanted to do a hybrid. And so I was the only one equipped to do the technology portion. So that, excuse me. So that really put a lot of busyness in my schedule in October. So I appreciate you all being patient with me the last 2 weeks. So I don't take that for granted. Classes in November. What we're going to do, we're going to have several speakers. Like I said, Michelle Williams is speaking in about 10 minutes here. But we will have a couple of social entrepreneurs on the call as well as some advocacy leaders so that we can discuss the importance of building a social economic ecosystem. Please ask questions as I will provide some of their facts or things that they will point out. I will use as questions for your exam, either on the essay portion or in the multiple choice portion, based on their presentation. So take notes there. And we have 2 speakers confirmed with 1 more awaiting. All right. We're not going to have class the Thanksgiving Thursday, but we will have class the following Thursday and Thanksgiving the following Thursday before. Okay. What else? Next week, we'll discuss the final exam, the remaining 5 or 6 weeks of class. Okay. Or 4 or 5 weeks. This is week 11 out of 16. All right. Last thing before we have our speaker, I want us to briefly talk about did you all read you all read the case study that Dr. James Agbazaki, Dr. Karen Shumway, and myself wrote, correct? So that is a precursor for us to, and I read you all's papers, by the way, on that. The reason why we wrote that is so that we can create a larger institute to help the city, right? So we want to hire researchers to research how to build the Dallas ecosystem and then publish it at UNT Dallas. Well, we were awarded $3.5 million through the state of Texas to build a social entrepreneurship and mobility institute. They're in the process of, we had a meeting with the provost and the president today, with President Mong and Provost Stewart today, the School of Business faculty, and they spoke on this institute, and they are looking to figure out what type of programs are needed to help the community learn about businesses so that we can build this ecosystem. So based on Poverty Inc., based on the 2 case studies that you've read, what are some ideas UNT Dallas can implement to better the Black and the brown communities in inner city Dallas in the Social Entrepreneurship Mobility Institute? Do you have an idea? Did that make sense? Did that make sense or no?
Can you repeat it one more time?
So we are creating a social entrepreneurship and mobility institute at UNT Dallas. This is a play. We have $3.5 million to do it. And we're looking to provide programs or ways to help the community, educate them on building their businesses, or like family businesses that you all are a part of. How can they be a part of building their businesses so that they can build their communities? How can we help them? Is that clear?
Yeah, like I have a friend. We started school at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to community college for a bit, and I mean he was going for business, and his main goal was to make a tile company because he worked for just tiling for houses, apartments, and he ended up dropping out of school and started his company instead. I don't know if that was the best decision for him. He is doing great right now because he already has like 2 years into the company, and they've advanced a lot. So I don't know if like a form of program that could give them a lot more tips or insight of what's coming next, because at the beginning he was very lost, and that was the main thing that he was looking for, just insight of how to handle situations of where they have issues, budget issues, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Resource center
Okay.
for different things that companies need, businesses need, that they wouldn't even know where to go to get it. You know, like even with a new startup company, a lot of people won't start it because they don't even know how to get started. So maybe a resource center, something like that, that can kind of guide you into
Gotcha.
how to get started.
Gotcha. That's a
Yeah,
great.
because I bet there's already a lot of like base how do I say, there's already a lot of base models that you can follow through to see how a business is started, but it's generalized, like it's for the general community. And I feel some people would be like happy to have someone that talks one-on-one with them, that specifically follows what they're going through, just to make it a little easier. Because those general step-by-step process information that they give, I mean, sometimes it doesn't apply to everyone. And yeah, I think that would help a little bit more for those entrepreneurs who are starting and they eventually give up pretty fast.
Got you. Got you. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm writing some of these notes down. I want y'all to continue talking. Brisa, Oscar, Jocelyn, y'all please chip in. Dietrich, please continue you all's feedback. Again, I'm just listening for programs that you all think that can be great for the Social Entrepreneurship and Mobility Institute, because this is a unique opportunity to try to create that. I'm in a fortunate position to kind of flesh out a strategy for it. And based on you all's, honestly, this conversation is stemming from you all's feedback from your Poverty Inc. essays, in terms of y'all's listening or reviewing how NGOs, how nonprofit organizations, international organizations were going to Haiti and literally negatively impacting their economy because they thought they were doing good. I don't want UNT Dallas to do that to the Black and Brown community in Dallas. So this is your chance to voice your opinions that you all did on your paper, because y'all did a great job. Anyone else? And I see that Michelle Williams have joined us too. Hey, Michelle.
I'll add something else.
Mhm.
I mean, specifically for that, like how, like we can maybe there can provide a lot of help, but it'll eventually not stick to people. Maybe something that explains to entrepreneurs what social entrepreneurship really means, because they may start a business thinking about just profits instead of thinking about the bigger picture of social entrepreneurship.
Yeah, the triple bottom line type deal, right?
Yeah. So if you teach them since the beginning what's conscious capitalism, what's all this means, maybe it'll stick a lot more for longer within the community.
Well, you all are doing a great job prepping for y'all's paper that's going to be due tomorrow. I'm glad that y'all are reading those books. Good job. Y'all know how to make a professor feel good on a Thursday afternoon in front of company. Thank you very much. But Michelle Williams, she knows I'm silly anyway, so I'm not really having a professional. I don't have a professional air about this. But thank you all very much. I want to respect Miss Williams' time because she's a very busy woman. She just stepped out of a meeting, but I want her to discuss this internship opportunity that she has. And also, if you want to chime in, we don't have to have the discussion that you had last night, which was amazing to our entrepreneurship class, by the way. You're very inspiring. But this specifically is my social entrepreneurship class. And our discussion today is the Social Entrepreneurship and Mobility Institute, in which Provost Stewart and President Mung addressed the faculty, and they're releasing their executive director position for that. I am privy, I'm in a space where I can help cultivate the strategy on the business plan for it. So I'm asking social entrepreneurship students their thoughts so that we can incorporate that. And Michelle Williams, based on her previous role, one of her previous roles, can directly be an expert, subject matter expert in this because of what she's done. So one, welcome Ms. Williams to the social entrepreneurship class.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here and chat with and learn from your brilliant students.
Sweet. Good deal. Well, I said this earlier. I'm going to switch it because I'm going to show that picture again. Michelle Williams is the executive director of an organization called FinTech in Action. FinTech in Action, she'll tell you more about that. It's a fairly new org. She's executive director, but most importantly, she is this new generation of business leaders who are socially conscious to change the economy as we see it today. And so the work that she's doing is ensuring people who are historically disenfranchised or historically was not in the economic ecosystem have an equitable stake. And she's doing that not only as an advocate, but also as providing a way, a tool so that we can benefit, so that we can have a healthy balance sheet while doing our advocacy work. So, Michelle, if I'm totally off, you can correct whatever I just said. If not, you could just say, cool, and move on with whatever you would like to say to spread the word.
No, that was great. Thank you, Matt. So yes, my name is Michelle Williams. I have known Professor Houston for years and years and years because we're old.
Yes, she looks better than I do. I'm just old. That's all that is.
So I'm excited to be here and chat with you today. Would love to share with you about FinTech in Action, what we're doing, and some opportunities that we have open for internships that I would love for some of you, if not all of you, to consider. So FinTech in Action is an initiative that started last summer in response to the social unrest that was happening in response to George Floyd's horrendous murder. The CEOs of Apex and Peak Six, Apex is based in Dallas, they decided that they didn't want to be companies that just posted a Black Lives Matter statement on their website and moved on. They actually wanted to address, reflect on and address systemic issues that existed within the industry that they have grown, multi-billion-dollar businesses in, which is fintech. And so from that desire, FinTech in Action was born. And so our actual mission is very specific. So we're focused on writing essentially the lack of exposure and the lack of inclusion of Black professionals within the fintech and finance industry. And so one of the partnerships that we're working on is a partnership with Apex Custody and Clearing. I didn't go into this yesterday, but I would like to give a really quick snippet on what that means. So Apex is a custody firm, which means have any of you done any online trading, like through Robinhood or through Webull or any of the online trading platforms? No one has. Okay. So when you do a trade, this is called retail trading, which means that anyone can do it. So let's say that you decided you wanted to buy $300 worth of Apple stock. You're going to go on one of these apps. You're going to go to Apple and you're going to make a purchase for $300. In your perspective, that transaction is immediate unless you do it after trading hours, right? So you make the transaction, as long as you have the money in your account, you own $300 worth of Apple stock. In reality, that transaction takes about 2 to 3 business days to complete. There is a confirmation that the funds are legit. There's confirmation that the account is legit. And then there is the transaction of the money. And then there's the transaction of the stock from the company to the middleman and then back to you. What Apex does is they essentially front you the money without you knowing it. So they loan you $300 and say, hey, Professor Houston is good for this $300. Go ahead, give him the stock. We're essentially going to write a short-term loan for him. And by the way, because we're writing the short-term loan, Robinhood or whatever app, you're going to give us an interest fee, right? And so that's how Apex makes its money. That is a multi-billion-dollar industry. because of how many people are trading. That company is based in downtown Dallas. It's a fintech company. It calls itself the fintech of fintechs because it is the middleman for 80% of the trading apps that exist internationally, not just here in the United States. Now that I give this explanation, Matt, I'm a little sad that I didn't give this to the students last night.
Well, I don't think people understand the weight, the gravity of your statement.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is no market in Dallas, like the commodities market in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Wall Street have all these types of stock markets all over the world, and then there are markets all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And Dallas has the person who created the technology to do the transactions behind the scenes of 80% of these, at least the U.S. transactions.
Yeah.
That and the creator of the ATM, who's also a Dallas site, who gets every transaction per ATM transaction still to this day. That is generational wealth, FYI. Anyway,
Definitely.
let's go because I'm getting depressed.
Oh, don't be depressed. So Apex oversees all custody clearing transactions. They also oversee a good portion of cryptocurrency transactions, and then they're building out some fintech platforms around economic education, things of that nature. So this company is a multi-billion-dollar company that's based downtown Dallas, probably has about 200 to 300 employees, and there are internship opportunities. So with FIA, we are essentially the liaison between brilliant students and fintech firms. And what our goal is to create those connections. And so one of the connections that we're attempting to make is one between UNT Dallas and Apex. And so we have about 8 to 10 internship opportunities. These are paid internship opportunities. We're still finalizing the budget for these, but I can tell you that the internships pay upwards of $20 an hour, meaning they're going to pay more than that. It's going to be a 12-week internship. And one of the things that I find most compelling, outside of the fact that they're paid internships that pay pretty well, is every student that goes through this program will have the opportunity to study and sit for the Series 7 and SIE exam. The reason why those are important is because those exams open the door for any financial job that you would ever want to do. And the majority of these jobs are $1 million jobs, or sorry, 6-figure jobs. Where the $1 million came in. Listen, wait, let me finish.
I was about to quit my job. I was about to say, I'll see y'all later, students.
So I had a conversation. So I'm building out a coalition of fintech professionals, Black fintech professionals. I had a conversation with one of the gentlemen that works for Peak Six, which is one of my parent companies. And he told me that trading and capital management is one of the few jobs that you can work and make $1 million as an employee in. And that blew my mind because I knew that these were very lucrative jobs. I knew that, there was 6 figures and up. I did not know that we had employees making over $1 million a year. Didn't know that. So I said that to say we have a limited amount of internships that we have available for this specific program. Now, I know that some of you are thinking, like, Michelle, I heard you say specifically this is for Black students. I'm not Black. There are a myriad of other internships that exist within the companies that we work in. One of the ones that I think is very, very cool is we have a trading internship that specifically focuses on women. They do a lot of, for the leadership development, they do a lot of playing poker because poker teaches you risk management, it teaches you strategy, things of that nature. But we also have trading boot camps that are open for everyone. We have client analysis and client engagement internships that are open for everyone. And then we have an edge internship that'll be opening up within the next couple of months, I believe. That will be, it's going to be a great opportunity if any of you are seniors, because it's going to be an opportunity for you to get experience in all of the different departments of the company. And then similar to the internship, take your exams and then matriculate directly into an entry-level job at Apex. So there are a lot of different opportunities. My focus is specifically on Black students, but there are so many that are across gender, race, ethnicity, age that I would definitely encourage you to take advantage of if anything that I've said today sounds compelling to you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ms. Williams. Any questions so far? As you can see, this is a smaller class because we're focusing on social entrepreneurship, but I believe Tina was a part of the class last night as well. Does anyone have any other questions for Ms. Williams?
So for all the other opportunities that we can go through, where can we get all those resources just to go
Great
for it?
question, because I did not put that in the chat. So you go to peak6.com/careers. That's where you're going to find those internships. For mine specifically, you're going to go to fintechinaction.com. There's a contact us forms. You can fill it out there at the bottom of the page, and I'll make sure to redirect that to our career services team. But peak6.com/careers, there's a campus recruitment link. Actually, let me pull it up here real quick so I can give you that direct link. But if you're already on the page, there's a campus recruitment link that you're gonna click on, and you're gonna see, let me just do this here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different internship opportunities. The other thing that I would suggest that you do, again, something that I didn't tell the class last night, but would be a great opportunity, is if you go to fintechinaction.com, regardless of how you identify, there are every single company that's, well, the majority of the companies that are part of our coalition, logo is on our website. If you click on any of those logos, those are all fintech and finance firms. You can click on their logos, go to their career page and see what they're doing for campus recruitment, because a lot of firms are hiring for their internships right now. One of the things that I discovered when I transitioned into this specific industry is that companies for finance and fintech internships, they start their recruitment cycle right now for summer internships. That recruitment cycle ends early winter, so like January, February. They send out offer letters before spring break, and they have their cohort designated very, very early on. The reason why they do that is because these are actual job offers that they're giving you. And so if there's travel involved, they have to calculate for travel. Some of the internship opportunities will fly you out to wherever they are. The ones that are in Chicago, I know the women's one is an in-person internship in Chicago. I'm not quite sure about the other ones in Chicago. But I know for sure that the women's trading experience is they do fly the students to Chicago, and the students work together in a cohort. And I think the engineering one as well. But yeah, so I say all that to say that even if you're not interested in these specific internships that I sent to you, if you are interested in doing any type of fintech or finance internship, which I suggest that you do, even if you don't think that that's where you want to go, because quite frankly, learning how to trade will change your life. You're going to learn how to invest money, and you will never look at money the same way again. It'll also give you access to a fantastic network and give you a different skill set and a different perspective in looking at really companies in the market that will help you understand a little bit more when you see people talk about NASDAQ and talk about, where we are economically as a country. So even if that's not the industry that you want to go in, please take advantage of every opportunity to increase your acumen knowledge. And it's paid. I mean, wouldn't you rather do that than, doing something else?
Paid $20 to $25, at least $20 an hour.
At least $20 an hour. But yeah.
So,
Yep.
Wow. This is an amazing opportunity. I want to thank you for, one, providing this type of infrastructure for our students. because this is the type of leadership and thing that we need in order for our communities to be better. And that was my rant this morning, or this earlier in class, about the importance of building programs. I was telling them about the CAC conference and how we're trying to build for Black and Brown communities infrastructure, equitable infrastructure, so that they can then support their communities. To brag on them for a second, they just we all watched Poverty Inc., the documentary, a few years ago, and they wrote 2-page papers about it. And they had really good insights in terms of seeing the importance of how NGOs are negatively impacting ecosystems in impoverished and third world countries, not allowing, crippling them, right, and maintaining their dependence on those superpowers. And so I think what we don't want to do is repeat either that history through this institute, or have that same thought process and philosophy when dealing with Black and Brown people in America, because that's not going to get us on equal playing field. And so things that you're doing, like this internship, helps students see the corporate space and see how money is not just evil, but you can use that as an instrument to better your community. So thank you, Michelle, for all the work that you're doing.
Yeah, happy to help. And of course, you know this, Professor Houston, but much of that is happening here in Dallas, where we saw a lot of that happen during COVID. A lot of that happened during the Black Lives Matter conversation that was happening, where there was a lot of money that was pledged and pumped into communities that the communities never saw. So we saw Black businesses fail. We saw businesses of every fail. We saw people go hungry, people go homeless. We saw the same thing that happened when we had the power grid fail. There was a lot of money that was pumped into the solutions. Very little of that money actually reached our families who needed it the most.
Yep. Agreed. Are there any questions, any other questions for Ms. Williams?
I just want to say, I love the fact that, like, we need to, go a little bit more information on investments. I feel it's a great way to start opening up to the whole business market, going a little bit further. I started a year ago just because of a joke of the meme of AMC and everything going with COVID. And I ended up making like $3K out of $200. So if people just if we can spread that information, I love that we're spreading all that, because it does help a lot. And even me myself, I don't even know what I'm doing. I wish I get some help as well on that too, because I know that was probably pure luck, but there's a lot more ways to get money off of that.
100%. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about, and we're kind of pivoting in the work that I do, is this conversation around exactly what you're talking about, education around wealth building and what it looks like to actually build wealth for yourself. Oftentimes when we think about the term wealth building, we think like, oh, I have to be wealthy to build wealth. And that's not the reality. The way that we're usually taught about money is don't spend too much, save your money, debt is bad, and work until you die, basically.
Yeah, work 35 years, get that good pension. That's wealth.
Exactly. When the reality is, the more and more that I spend time with wealthy people, the things that they teach their children is debt is a resource that can be used to build wealth. So not all debt is bad. It's a resource, it's a tool. So if you're using debt to build wealth, it's okay to take out debt. If you're using debt to consume, which is what a lot of people do, then it's not okay. That's a nuanced conversation. Yeah. The other thing is that saving is a waste of time. If you're going to put money away, especially when you're young, put money into a portfolio because that will make money. So I'm sure many of you have heard about 401ks, right? When you get a job, you put money in your 401k so you can have money when you retire. All a 401k is a company managed portfolio. That's all it is. So they're forcing you to put money in a portfolio account that will grow because the economies grow. So that way you have money when you retire. If you can do that with a 401k or a Roth IRA, why would you not do that with your own money? Why not take $100 when you get paid, put it into an investment portfolio and watch that money grow? Because even if that $100 turns into $110, $120, yeah, you only made 20 bucks, but you made 20 bucks more than you would have made if you just stuck it in a savings account. So yes, it is very important for us to change our mind with our perspective of how we look at wealth building and how we look at money, because some of what we've been taught is intentional, right? There's a reason why I grew up extremely poor. There's a reason why impoverished people are not taught about wealth building. But the same opportunities are out there for everyone. And so, like I said, even if you don't want to go into finance or fintech, I would encourage you to, at the very minimum, look into these internship opportunities because they're great opportunities. But even if you don't do that, there's a lot of information on YouTube. You can Google almost anything these days. Take the time to invest in yourself and in your knowledge and learn a little bit more about investing and trading.
Ms. Williams, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your words of wisdom, and for your opportunities for my students, and just your passion to transfer this information so we can better society.
Yes, my pleasure.
No problem. Class, if there's nothing else, I will wish you all a great evening. I'm going to conclude class now at 4:55. You all have a 5-page paper due tomorrow on your books that you all selected for your social impact paper. I'm looking forward to reading those on the weekend. I will provide your grades of your other papers this weekend, and I will read your papers next week, and then the following weekend you'll get your SI papers graded. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Thank you for everything. Have a good day.
No problem. You
Thank
too.
you.
Y'all have a good one.